In this video, we'll cover the touch operation options of the Fuji X-S10. So the camera's LCD monitor functions as a touchscreen. You can enable or disable touch operation through the menu by going to the setup icon, button dial settings, touchscreen settings. Select the touchscreen setting with the camera icon, and selecting on enables touchscreen operation during shooting, and selecting off will disable the touchscreen operation during shooting. Now if you're shooting with the electronic viewfinder, the EVF, then you can use the touchscreen to move the focus area. Furthermore, you can specify what section of the monitor should be used for the EVF touchscreen focus area selection. This is configured under Menu, Setup Icon, Button Dial Setting, Touchscreen Settings, EVF Touchscreen Area Settings. The options include the entire screen, right half, top right quarter, bottom right quarter, left half, top left quarter, bottom left quarter, and off. So for example, if you're shooting with the EVF and then you notice that your nose touches the left side of the LCD monitor and inadvertently changes the focus area, then you could set the touchscreen area settings to the right half so that the camera will ignore your nose on the left side of the screen and only registers touches on the right half of the screen. Now when shooting with the monitor, you can tap on the touchscreen mode indicator on the monitor display to set what function you want the camera to perform via touch operation. When the touchscreen mode is set to shot and you're in a still image recording, then you can tap on where you want the camera to focus on, and then the camera will focus and take a picture on the area that you touched. If you're shooting in burst mode, the camera will continue to take pictures until your finger is removed from the touchscreen. For movie recording, tap on the subject to focus and movie recording will begin automatically. To end the movie recording, press the shutter button. When the touchscreen mode is set to AF in still picture recording mode, then a picture will not be taken until you press the shutter button. So if the camera is set to single AF focus mode, then tapping on the touchscreen will focus on the area that was tapped. Focus will be locked at that distance until you tap on the AF off icon. If the camera is set to continuous AF focus mode, then the camera will continuously focus on the subject until you tap on the AF off icon. If the camera is set to manual focus, then tapping on the touchscreen will perform autofocus and will focus on the subject that you tapped. Now when the touchscreen mode is set to area, you can tap on the screen where you want the camera to zoom or focus. It's not actually going to perform the zoom or focus, but the focus frame will move to the point where you tapped. And then to actually perform the autofocus, you must press the button to which AF on is assigned. When the touchscreen mode indicator is set to off, then for still picture and movie recording, touch controls are disabled. Touch operation can also be used during image playback. To enable or disable the use of touchscreen during playback, go to Menu, Setup Icon, Button Dial Setting, Touchscreen Setting, and select the touchscreen setting with the playback icon. Setting this option to off disables touchscreen operation during playback, and when the option is set to on, then you can perform the following touch operations. You can swipe your finger horizontally across the display, which will allow you to view another image. You can pinch out to zoom in on an image during playback. Now when an image is in a zoomed in view, you can slide your finger across the screen to drag and view other areas of the image. You can also do the opposite by pinching in so you can zoom out on the image. Note that you can only zoom out until the entire image is visible, but no further. Double tapping on the screen will zoom in on where the focus point was placed during shooting. To enable the double tap operation, go to Menu, Setup Icon, Button Dial Settings, Touchscreen Setting, and select the camera icon double tap setting. flicking your finger up, down, left, or right, you can initiate different camera functions, and this is called touch function. Placing your finger in the middle of the screen and flicking upward is referred to as TFN1, and by default that will bring up the histogram. Placing your finger in the middle of the screen then flicking left is referred to as TFN2, and by default that will put you into sports finder mode. Placing your finger in the middle of the screen and then flicking to the right is referred to as TFN3, and by default that will enable the large indicators mode. Placing your finger in the middle of the screen and then flicking downward is referred to as TFN4, and by default will display the electronic level. Now those are just the defaults. You actually can reassign different functions to the touch function gestures, and we'll cover this in a different video. Note that in order to use the touch function buttons, you'll need to make sure touch function is enabled. So you go to the menu, setup icon, button dial setting, touchscreen settings, and then TFN touch function. And set this to on to enable touch function, or set it to off to disable the touch function operation completely.